The galaxy had known peace for almost 300 years. After the First Galactic War, humanity had disappeared. Some believed humans had gone extinct. Others claimed Earth had destroyed itself. The official history taught in every alien military academy was simple. Humans fought bravely, but they lost. For centuries, no human ship had ever been seen. No human colony had answered a transmission. No human signal had appeared. Eventually, the galaxy forgot them. Then everything changed. On the outer edge of known space, an alien mining crew discovered a gigantic object buried inside an asteroid. At first, they thought it was an abandoned station, but as the dust cleared, a rusted metal emblem became visible. It was unlike any alien language. Below it, one word appeared: Earth. The discovery spread across the galaxy within hours. Scientists entered the station expecting old technology. Instead, the lights suddenly turned on by themselves. A woman's voice echoed through the dark corridors. Human military bunker 17 activated. Everyone froze. The station had been abandoned for 3 centuries. Yet, its systems were still alive. Deep inside the command room, they found a single holographic recording. A human general appeared on the screen. His uniform was covered in dust. Behind him, entire cities burned. He looked directly into the camera, then calmly spoke. If you are watching this, World War II has already begun. Silence filled the room. The recording suddenly ended. At that exact moment, every communications satellite across the galaxy shut down. Every military radar went offline. Every navigation system failed. Then, every screen displayed the same message: Earth is awake. Alien governments declared a galactic emergency. Nobody understood what it meant, but somewhere, hidden beyond the stars, something had finally awakened. The message spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Earth is awake. No one knew who had sent it. No one knew where it had come from. But one thing was certain: it had reached every civilization at exactly the same moment. Inside the Galactic Council, chaos erupted. Military commanders demanded answers. Scientists insisted it had to be an ancient automated broadcast. Politicians laughed. Humans are extinct. They're trying to scare us. The Supreme Chancellor stood from his throne. Enough. If humanity still exists, we'll end this before it begins. Within hours, the largest invasion fleet in galactic history assembled. More than 2 million alien warships, hundreds of dreadnoughts, thousands of carriers, entire moons converted into mobile battle stations. The order was simple: fly to Earth, destroy whatever remained. 3 weeks later, the invasion fleet entered the solar system. Every commander expected to find a ruined civilization. Instead, they found nothing. No orbital defenses, no satellites, no warships. Even Earth looked peaceful. One admiral smiled. So the stories were true. They really are gone. The Chancellor gave the final order: move toward Earth. The fleet accelerated. Then, every alarm activated. A frightened officer shouted, "Unknown energy spike detected." Another yelled, "Gravity distortion ahead." Before anyone could react, the darkness beyond Pluto began to move. Not an asteroid, not a planet, something far larger. 1, then 10, then hundreds of enormous black warships slowly emerged from deep space. Each ship was larger than an alien city. Their engines burned with an impossible blue light. No sound, no warning, just endless ships appearing from the darkness. The Admiral whispered, "Impossible." The scanners kept counting. 10,000, 100,000, 500,000. The number refused to stop. Entire hidden fleets emerged from behind dwarf planets, frozen comets, and deep space shadows. Millions of human warships, completely silent, perfectly organized. Every ship carried the same silver emblem, a phoenix rising above Earth. Panic spread across the alien fleet. Where they'd been hiding? How did we never detect them? One scientist stared at the readings. His face turned pale. They weren't hiding. They were sleeping. For 300 years, they've been waiting. At the center of a human armada, a single colossal flagship slowly moved forward. It was nearly the size of a moon. Its black armor absorbed the light of nearby stars. Ancient battle scars covered its hull. Across its side, massive glowing letters appeared. World War II. Every alien commander fell silent. The flagship opened a communication channel. A calm human voice echoed across every ship. You believed humanity disappeared. A pause. We didn't disappear. We were preparing. The transmission ended. Seconds later, every human warship activated its weapons at the exact same moment. The darkness of space turned electric blue. The alien invasion fleet realized the terrifying truth. This wasn't the beginning of a war. It was the moment humanity had been waiting for 300 years. The silence lasted only a few seconds. Then, the stars disappeared. Not because they were gone, because millions of human warships had completely filled the darkness of space. The alien invasion fleet suddenly looked tiny. The Supreme Chancellor couldn't believe what he was seeing. Scanned their fleet. The sensors immediately returned impossible numbers. Every human ship carried weapons beyond anything the Galactic Alliance had ever built. Quantum rail cannons, artificial singularity launchers, planetary defense shields. Entire battle groups operated as if they shared one mind. One frightened officer whispered, "These aren't ordinary ships. They're learning." Every vessel was controlled by a military artificial intelligence connected across the entire fleet. If one ship discovered an enemy weakness, every other human ship learned it instantly. The alien admirals had never seen technology like this. The Chancellor finally spoke. Fire. More than 2 million alien warships unleashed everything they had. Red plasma beams, antimatter missiles, dark energy lances. The solar system exploded with light. Entire regions of space vanished behind billions of weapons. For nearly 30 seconds, nothing could be seen. The alien commander smiled. No civilization could survive that. Then, the smoke cleared. Every human ship was still there. Not one had been destroyed. Blue energy shields shimmered across the fleet. The attacks had barely scratched them. Silence filled every alien bridge. Then the human flagship moved. Not quickly, slowly, confidently. As if victory had already been decided, a new transmission opened. This time, the face of an old human commander appeared. His hair was gray, a scar across one eye, yet his expression remained calm. "My name is Admiral Elias Kane. You think you defeated humanity 3 centuries ago. You were wrong." He turned and pointed toward a gigantic hologram behind him. It showed Earth, then Mars, then hundreds of hidden star systems. After our last war, we knew another invasion would come. So we disappeared. We built hidden worlds, hidden factories, hidden fleets. For 300 years, every child born on Earth trained for one purpose: to ensure humanity would never lose another war. The hologram zoomed farther outward. The alien commanders gasped. Thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of hidden human colonies appeared across unexplored space. Humanity hadn't survived. It had expanded in complete secrecy. The Chancellor whispered, "This is impossible." Admiral Kane smiled. "No, this is preparation." Suddenly, every alarm aboard the flagship screamed. Not because of the alien fleet, because something much worse had appeared. A massive gravitational distortion opened at the center of the galaxy. Stars began disappearing. Entire solar systems lost contact. Even the human fleet paused. A young officer looked at Admiral Kane. "Sir, it can't be." Kane's confident expression disappeared for the first time. He quietly spoke for chilling words. "They're here already." The bridge fell silent. The alien commanders stared in confusion. "They?" Then, from the darkness beyond the galactic core, a colossal black object slowly emerged. It wasn't a ship. It was nearly the size of a planet. Behind it, thousands more followed. The sensors couldn't identify them. No known civilization had ever built anything that large. Every human officer stood to attention because they recognized the enemy immediately. The enemy humanity had been preparing for long before the aliens ever arrived. Every screen across the human fleet turned toward the galactic core. The alien commanders watched in confusion. None of their records mentioned an enemy powerful enough to frighten humanity. Then, the first object emerged completely from the darkness. It wasn't a spaceship. It looked alive. A planet-sized machine covered in black armor and glowing crimson veins drifted silently through space. Behind it, hundreds more appeared, then thousands. Their formations stretched across entire star systems. The scanners failed immediately. One terrified alien officer whispered, "Those readings can't be correct." The chief scientist looked up with trembling hands. "They're not detecting metal. They're detecting biological matter." Silence. The enormous ships weren't built. They had been grown. Every vessel was a living organism. Every cannon was part of its body. Every engine was a beating artificial heart. The Galactic Alliance had never imagined such technology. Inside the human flagship, no one panicked. Every officer calmly took their positions. Admiral Elias Kane stared at the approaching armada. "They're right on schedule." The alien chancellor couldn't believe his ears. "You knew they were coming?" Kane nodded. For 300 years, he activated another ancient hologram. It showed old footage from humanity's first deep space expedition. 3 centuries earlier, human explorers had reached the edge of the galaxy. There, they discovered the remains of thousands of dead civilizations. Entire planets reduced to ash. Cities floating lifeless in space. Not a single survivor. Only one warning remained, carved into the ruins in hundreds of alien languages. "Run before they wake." Humanity ignored the warning. They searched farther. Then, they found them. A sleeping fleet hidden between dying stars. Millions of living warships. Human explorers escaped, but they knew the creatures would eventually awaken. That was the real reason humanity disappeared. Not because they lost the last war, because they had spent 300 years preparing for this one. The alien chancellor slowly lowered his head. "We thought you feared us." Admiral Kane looked at him. "We never feared you. You were simply in our way." Before the chancellor could answer, the largest living warship opened. Its entire front split apart like the mouth of a giant beast. A beam of crimson energy erupted across space. One alien battle station, the size of a moon, disappeared instantly. Not exploded, not damaged, simply erased from existence. The Galactic Alliance had lost its strongest fortress. In less than 1 second, panic spread across every fleet. "Retreat. Fall back. We can't fight this." Ships turned in every direction, but it was too late. Thousands of living warships charged forward. Their organic weapons tore through entire armadas. Explosions filled the galaxy. Stars themselves seemed to shake. Admiral Kane stood from his command chair. He looked toward the terrified alien fleets. "For centuries, you believed humanity was preparing to destroy you." He shook his head. "No, we were preparing to save you." The bridge fell silent. He gave one final order. "Activate Project Last Dawn." Across millions of hidden human warships, blue lights ignited simultaneously. Every weapon, every engine, every shield. The entire human fleet came alive. Then, the largest human flagship, World War II, began moving directly toward the living armada. Not to escape, not to defend, but to begin the greatest battle in galactic history. As the flagship accelerated, Admiral Kane quietly whispered, "Humanity advance." And for the first time in 300 years, the stars themselves trembled. The entire galaxy watched in silence. For the first time in history, humans, aliens, machines, every civilization was staring at the same battlefield. More than 5 million living warships surged toward the Milky Way. Behind them, a creature larger than a planet slowly emerged. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a machine. It was the intelligence controlling the entire living fleet. Ancient records called it only one name, the Devourer. According to civilizations that had vanished billions of years earlier, the Devourer never conquered galaxies. It consumed them. Stars, planets, entire civilizations. Everything became fuel for its endless army. No one had ever defeated it. Until now, humanity intended to try. Inside the bridge of World War II, Admiral Elias Kane stood before every captain in the fleet. No fear, no hesitation, only determination. His voice echoed across millions of ships. 300 years ago, we made a promise. If this enemy ever returned, humanity would stand first. Every human officer saluted. Every captain repeated the same words. For Earth, for humanity. Then Kane gave the final command. All fleets, advance. Millions of blue engines ignited together. The darkness of space became an ocean of light. Human dreadnoughts accelerated straight toward the living armada. The aliens watched in disbelief. No fleet had ever willingly charged an enemy this powerful. The first collision shook entire solar systems. Blue railgun fire ripped through organic battleships. Planet-killer missiles exploded like miniature suns. Human fighters swarmed through impossible gaps. Entire alien fleets joined the attack beside humanity. For the first time, the galaxy fought as one, but the Devourer kept advancing. Every destroyed ship was replaced by another. Every victory lasted only seconds. A young officer looked at Admiral Kane. Sir, we can't stop it. Kane smiled quietly. I know. The bridge fell silent. Then he opened one final encrypted file. Only the highest commanders knew it existed. Project Last Dawn. The true reason humanity had disappeared for 300 years. Every hidden factory, every secret colony, every warship had been built for one purpose. Not to win a war, to power one final weapon. A weapon that could collapse an artificial star. One shot, one chance. No survivors within millions of kilometers. Kane looked toward Earth on the tactical display. A small blue world. Still alive. Still worth protecting. He whispered, "This is why we waited." Then he pressed the authorization key. Across the fleet, every human ship transmitted its remaining power to the flagship. Engines shut down. Weapons went silent. Blue energy flowed toward World War II. The flagship began glowing brighter than a star. The Devourer finally reacted. Its enormous eye opened. For the first time, it tried to retreat. It was already too late. Admiral Kane gave his final order. Tell every child on Earth. He smiled. They'll have it tomorrow. The flagship accelerated directly into the heart of the Devourer. Then, a blinding blue star was born. For one impossible moment, the entire galaxy became silent. No explosions, no sound, only light. When the brightness finally faded, the Devourer was gone. Its endless living fleet disappeared with it. The greatest threat in galactic history had been erased, but so had the flagship, and Admiral Elias Kane. Months later, the Galactic Council gathered above Earth. For the first time in history, the flags of hundreds of alien civilizations flew beside Earth's flag. The Supreme Chancellor stepped forward. He looked at the human memorial, then quietly said, "We thought humanity prepared for revenge." He lowered his head. Instead, they prepared to save us all. 300 years later, children from every civilization visited the World War II Memorial Museum on Earth. At the center stood the broken helmet of Admiral Elias Kane. A young alien child asked his teacher, "Why do all soldiers salute this helmet?" The teacher smiled. Because whenever the galaxy needed a hero, humanity answered. The camera slowly pulled away from Earth, far beyond the Milky Way. In the darkness between galaxies, a single red light opened. Then another, and another. A faint mechanical voice echoed through the void. Signal received. Beginning approach. The end. Or is it?